from our Creator, who is just, and He wants justice to be done. If you believe in justice, your heart and your mind will be inclined to Islam. Why? Because justice is one very important key aspect of the Islamic teaching. Justice.
Okay, it's a lot to take in, but okay.
All right, John. Nice talking to you.
Yeah, and you.
Have you, Mansoor, Muhammad, have you ever read the Quran?
I've seen bits. I watch videos from here. So
Would you say at least we have, with our very bad way and effort to encourage you, at least would you be encouraged to read the Quran and see what the Quran has to say about God?
Do you know the problem would be for me, and it's not specific to the Quran or Islam. I can read it, and it can make sense to me, but inside I don't have the belief that it's actually true. Like you could.
That leave it to you and your Creator.
Yeah, that's
you can come to your realization if this book is now engaging with you. This is the copy of the Quran in English, right? A translation, and it tells you God speaking to you, and you're saying, but there is no God, and the Quran is saying, yes, I have created all of this. There was nothing, cannot create anything. You cannot create the universe. God is the one who created. You will be, in this, transformation way of critical thinking. And the book will eventually engage with you. And you have to come to a point where saying, yes, it makes sense or not. Okay? So I will leave that to you and the author of this book. I don't have to worry about it. This is for you. I'm not concerned at all about this. When you engage with this book, you will engage with the creator of this universe, the author of this book.
Can I have this one as well?
Yeah.
So, I know you probably can't answer this. It's quite a question we forgot. If I read this and I just thought it's good, it's okay, yeah, I got no problem with it, but I still don't have that belief that it's true. Do you think it's just if I would get punished then for that? For trying and I was sincere and I just thought I just can't believe it.
Sure. First, point number one. Does it make sense to you? You don't have, after you finish reading, right? It makes sense to you. There is no problems. Everything makes sense. Everything has evidence. It's not just claims here and there. But you still choose not to believe it. Then there must be a reason.
No, I believe that if you told me there's a tiger in the park, I instantly think I believe it or I don't. It's like an internal.
Sure.
You could say a story that makes sense how a tiger came to come in the park. Okay. Do I actually inside believe? Yeah, there was a tiger or there was not a tiger.
Let me give you a simple answer. If you are sincere, if you're reading the Quran sincerely, if you're asking God, whatever God is, right, whoever He is, wherever He is, to guide you, you will believe. It's as simple as that. The only thing that can prevent you from believing is actually being arrogant towards it. Meaning that you know is the truth. It makes sense to you. There is evidence for it. Everything makes sense, right? But you say, you know what? I'm not going to believe it. I'm not going to ask this deity, whatever it is deity that exists, to guide me, that created everything, that fashioned me, to guide me, to give me this internal peace, to give me this assurance of what I believe in, right? So this assurance and belief that you ask for can only be given by the Creator. We can stand here with you for millenniums, right? It's not going to change anything until you also open your heart towards the Creator, right? If you be sincere enough and you're reading sincerely, you're not reading with the propaganda, with some eyes of critiquing eyes. No, you're reading sincerely to know, right? You're reading to find out whether it makes sense to you or not. If you are doing that and you ask the Creator, wherever He is, wherever He is, to guide you, I guarantee that you will be guided, right? So the criteria for you to go to hellfire, let us make it simple, right? That you hear the message of Islam, right? You know it's the truth. You will know deep down inside of you, because every person has fitrah. Fitrah is the innate natural disposition that God gave you. It will make sense. It will correlate with your innate disposition, and then die upon rejection, even though it makes sense to you. Knowingly, you die upon rejecting the message, right? You heard the message, you know it's the truth. Knowingly, you die upon rejecting. So that means that you chose hellfire over loving God. God did not.
Those are the people who will go to hellfire.
So God did not choose to take you to hellfire. You chose not to believe in God. You chose to go to hellfire. That is the only criteria for you to go. So
I don't agree with that, but I'm going to go now anyway.
Sure, but do you understand this point? If you realize after reading and studying and reflecting that this is the truth, but you didn't accept it, that shows that for either arrogance or stubbornness, whatever reason, you're rejecting knowing what's the truth. That is one reason people will go justly to hellfire. If you believe and you accept it, then it's like God has promised you and guarantees you to give you paradise. Okay? Because you have now done all your efforts and you are tuned in His reason for your creation. And God's mercy and His grace is what you have now got. Because you became the recipient of His grace and mercy, and He will put you into paradise. If you reject it while knowing it, this is why it's called, in other words, if you've heard of the word kafir, kafir is someone who covers the truth. Yeah? That's why a farmer, in Arabic linguistically, is called kafir, because they cover the seed with the soil. Okay? So if someone knowingly rejects the truth, these are the ones who are destined to go by their own making to hellfire. God is just, He's not unjust. He is the most just. So if you read with an open heart, as my brother said, with sincerity, and ask the Creator to guide you, He will guide you. Guidance is not in our hands. It was not even the hands in our Prophet ﷺ. Only God is the one who guides. No one else can guide.
So just to end this point, right? Hellfire is a choice. It's not something that God gives you, it's a choice that you make. So read.
But it's also His choice. Because He can stop at any moment. Any moment He can decide not to.
If He stops you unwillingly, you don't want to be stopped. You don't want to stop.
When you get there. When you get to Judgment Day, or whatever it is you call it, He can still decide to forgive you. You met all the criteria.
Is that just?
I don't know. I've never really thought.
Remember we talked about justice?
No, but he still could, though, couldn't he?
Is it just? He could 100%, but it will be injustice. Because if I was, let me give you an example. I was my entire.
To be unjust?
For example, like hypothetically, I was my entire life, or this person was his entire life praying, doing whatever God commanded him, being good to everyone, taking care of orphans, doing all of them, right? And then God, in the day of judgment, sends him to heaven. And then you come, you kill 20 million people, you raped, you stole, you punch people in the face, you broke every commandment of God, and then God is saying, you know what? Go with him to
Not the fact
go with him to heaven. Is that just?
It's not just, but could he still do it?
He could, but he will be doing injustice.
Yeah, but it's still his choice to do that then, whether it's just or injustice.
Did God tell you if you do these bad things, you will go there? So who choose to do the bad things, you or God?
Yeah, both. I take your point. This is my choice.
Okay.
But I'm saying it's his choice. That when you get there, he could go. I've decided now.
Okay. If I'm a teacher, right, and I tell you study in order to succeed this year, study in order to succeed this year. I have two students. One of them studied, the other one did not study. The one who studied, right, he succeeded, right? The one who didn't study, he failed. Is that the fault of the teacher? This is what you're saying.
No, what I'm saying is,
how is that the choice and the fault of the teacher?
I'm not saying it's just or unjust. I'm saying he can still choose to. He can choose to be.
How is that the choice of the teacher? Did the teacher choose to make the child fail? No. But he could make him succeed, even though he didn't study, he didn't pass the test.
Would it be just to pass the one who didn't study at all? Yeah. And make them both go to the next level? Same certificate.
If they both pass the test, or if they didn't.
No, the one who didn't study at all. Yeah. And then he says, okay, fine, now there you go, your certificate.
He gives both of them.
I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying just or injustice.
My question to you.
He could choose to if he wanted to.
The teacher.
Well, God or the teacher.
Yeah, okay, so if the teacher does that, what would that prove? that the teacher is in Dutch. He wasted all the effort of the child that studied the whole year, and he gave the child that played, that didn't do anything, that chose not to study, the same certificate. So this is what you're asking God to do. The one who did.
I don't know.
No, you're saying. You're saying it's his choice, but it's not. It's what you chose to do in your life that led you wherever you are going to go.
So he doesn't ultimately decide then.
No, he lets you. What do you mean by ultimately
when you get to
decide?
Judgment Day, he doesn't make.
He already decided by telling you if you do that, you go to hellfire.
Yes, he doesn't make. He doesn't.
He
Make,
already made the decision. He said if you do this, you will go to hellfire. Who made this decision?
So
He did. But you chose to do that.
What's the idea behind Judgment Day then? If you've already, if you've chose to go to hell by your actions, where does Judgment Day come into it?
Judgment Day is when you see all you've done, like it's too low. That would be when you will see yourself.
Is there a decision made there then on Judgment Day that
See,
he says that door?
when you have lived your life, good or bad, you pretty much know, right, what the outcome is, if you've been very bad. But some people who do bad and good and so on and so forth. So not every decision is understood while you're here on this life. In the hereafter, all your actions will be judged, and your belief, the right one or the wrong one, and the judgment will be given. No injustice will be done that day. The only judge will be God. So in that day, everyone will accept their destination, whether it was hell or heaven. No one will complain. Sure. No one would complain in the things that they have. They will blame themselves to those who have gone to hellfire. Even Satan will, he will do this, like, I'm free from, any blame. Why? I only called you to all these things, wrong things, evil things, unjust things. I only called you, I didn't force you, but you followed. So even Satan will wash his hands from it. Everyone will blame themselves. That's why we don't want to be in that stage in which there is no helper but God. So we have to now study, from now, reconcile ourselves with our Creator and say, do I want to go to a place where there will be happiness and bliss and joy and tranquility, or do I want to go to a place where there's suffering and misery and pain? We make the decision. You can make the decision.
All right, nice speaking to you anyway.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hello?
if there's a certain concentration of energy in one part, because you have like space and energy.
Which makes sense that this energy consciously decides to put the order in this universe, or it just happened by coincidence?
It happened by coincidence, I think.
It makes sense. So do you think if I have all the ingredients to make a jumbo jet, a Boeing 707, and I put it in a warehouse, and I leave it there, and every now and then I create some explosion. So by chance, I expect the next generation, Boeing 747, 707, A437, whatever, to produce, right?
No, because it's
Why not?
I think what you are trying to, so we're talking about coincidence.
Yeah.
I think the system of coincidence is working on a very, very small scale. So it doesn't work for huge amounts of substance like for Boeing 7.
The reason why I'm saying is atom is not what you think atom is. You break down into quantum world. In quantum, you all these quantum particles interacting with each other. They are not simple. They're very complex in their interactions.
They are
That
complex.
interaction is already an interaction which there are rules and laws in place already.
And I think those rules or laws you're talking about the small scale, where is more or less like the response of them to themselves. More or less,
Don't worry about the hecklers, they will come and go.
more or less formed by the coincidence. So it's like by coincidence there were those quarks.
When you say
and then
coincidence, okay, what is coincidence?
it's just like
Personally, I don't think there is such thing as coincidence. It doesn't exist. What is coincidence? If I flip a coin, brother, listen. If I flip a coin, yeah, £1 coin, whether it is head or tail, do you think it's coincidence?
pardon, I didn't understand you because
You know,
somebody
money,
Yes.
right? Do you have a £1
I
coin?
didn't understand because somebody was
Okay.
talking.
I know. Hecklers will come and they will whisper. Don't worry. So you have a head
Yes,
and a tail, right?
yes,
That's what we call a coin.
yes,
Now, if I flip this coin
yes,
and I falls on my hand,
yes.
is it a coincidence? Is it head or tail?
I was in another company.
It is.
No, it's not. Let me tell you why it's not. If I know all the factors that are associated with this action, the density of this material, the weight, the humidity in the air, the temperature,
Yes.
the air pressure, the height as it falls, the force that I'm flicking this coin,
Yes.
and when it falls, the impact it's going to have on my hand,
Yes.
the pressure it's going to enforce on my hand and bounce back. If I factor all of this in my equation,
Temperature.
we can pretty much most probably say it's going to be head or tail, because we know this is going to happen. The fact that I don't know all of these equation factors in my equation, I say by chance it's going to be head or tail. But if I could eliminate and find all of these factors, you can say, yeah, it's going to be head and tail, and you can actually do that in the lab.
Yeah, but
So in that way, thank you, there is no coincidence. It's an awareness of the factors in play.
yes, that's true. But there will always be like the understanding of our coincidence is that you don't know or you can't prove it. So
But when you say we don't know and prove, remember, it's our ignorance of the matter, of the reality. If we knew it, you can say it's going to head or tail with most probability. It's highly probable it's going to be head or tail, right? This energy, when it did something, when you say coincidence, there is no such thing as a coincidence. When something happens, it happens through a what? I would say it happens because of the will, because of the decision from that energy. It makes sense that the energy then decides. That's why we say this creator possesses self-awareness, creates power, possesses power, and a will to make things. Because when everywhere in our life we know and we see that it is by choice and will and by decision things happen. Nothing happens by coincidence. Nothing. Either it happens through our ignorance of the laws that are in place. For example, if someone throws something, you don't know whether it's going to hit that tree or not, whether it's going to damage that leaf or not. But if you knew all of it, you can pretty much say the probability of that leaf getting plucked from that tree, this is going to happen. You know that. So likewise, we say this universe follows certain rules and laws that is already built in.
That's what.
And who did built in? That's the first cause.
I think we're talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
Because I know that there are natural laws like gravity and stuff, but about the beginning, so your point of view is that there's a creator with a will, and I say I don't think that is like this. I think I haven't got enough proof for it to say anything about it.
What proof have you got?
I don't have any.
Okay, you haven't got any proof.
So
Okay, fine.
that's the reason why I also told you, this gentleman, that I don't want to make a point about it. That I don't want to say, okay, there's the creator or the being or the creator you call it. So I think I don't have enough proof to say what is in the beginning, and I don't have enough proof to say yes, there is a reason A, and it started with all that. Or I don't have enough proof to say no, there has to be a reason A. There always had be like a infinitive chain reaction. It's just like I don't think we have enough facts to talk about it.
Okay, you see that camera there?
Yes, and I think I would like to stop this discussion, but I don't want anybody to film me. I'm just like too long in this space.
That's why we can wrap this up. I'm saying, you can see this is Canon and Nikon, right? You want to say they've designed it. That particular one in particular, I can't see who designed it. Would I be reasonable to say this has no designer because I don't know who the designer is? Would it be reasonable for me to say this camera is not designed because I don't know who designed it?
You can say that you know that there should be a designer because it's already an amount of substance there. But I'm talking about this about the circumstance before the very beginning of substance, and that's why what we are arguing about. You say there's a created. I say I don't know what there is, and I don't have any facts based on that.
But the difference is, I'm saying, when we look at the reality around us,
Yes.
whether it's this camera or the whole universe in its operation,
Yes.
I see the action of a designer in place. When I see the camera, I don't need to know whether it's manufactured by Apple or something, whoever. I know this has a designer by looking at itself as the complexity and organization within this camera. I look at this universe, I see the harmony of the universal constants, the things that are there. You can say this camera is just a coincidence and believe in it. You can believe in that. You can believe the camera came by itself through coincidence. But me, I cannot accept that. Just like I cannot accept this universe or it just come by coincidence. Because it's so precise, so organized. It's not just organizational complexity. We're talking about a level of complexity that's so much that it, totally blasts our mind in terms of how much it is there. And yet, we are told by a group of people, dogmatics, atheistic community scientists, saying this all came from evolution and chance and so on and so forth, for a particular reason, because they have a particular doctrine behind it. Why? Because if they were to tell everyone, actually yes, we know like this must have a designer, the universe must have a designer, the consequence is, who is this designer? Why did this designer design that? They don't want you to go into this consonance.
What's the purpose?
So that's the difference between a theistic perspective and an atheistic perspective. You as a person of intelligence, you can see the universe around you. No one will say, don't use your critical thinking. Using your critical thinking, you will see that everything within this cosmos, whether it's a tree or another animal, a cat or a dog or a snail, you can see the complexity and the harmony and the precision and the laws that are bound within that system. And yet somehow someone is telling us that is a chance product. A product of a chance over maybe 13.6 billion years. For me, I don't buy it. For you, it's up to you. But at the end of the day, I'm going to die and you're going to die. And we will see the reality. When we face the reality and we have then questioned about our reality, why did you not believe seeing all the signs, all the evidence all around you? And you'd say, what would you say? I know what I can say, because I know I've seen it and I've accepted it. I didn't reject the science around me. You have to account and justify your belief. That's between you and what you see in the afterlife, if there is one. I believe there is an afterlife, and I believe there's a heaven and a hell. Hell is for people knowing the truth, They rejected the reality, the truth. Heaven is a place where God, our Creator, has created for us, for our happiness and joy and tranquility. This is not heaven. That's why we have some suffering here and there. This is a place of our testing, whether we actually deserve to go to eternal happiness, or we are so arrogant and stubborn, or so uncaring, unmindful, not even bothered, and then we decide against ourselves to go to a place of torture and misery and unhappiness and suffering and pain. That will be our own making. Our Creator, when you compare your concept of the energy and our Creator has attributes which no one gave. Just like your energy would have attributes and quality no one gave. We would say our Creator is self-aware, alive, conscious, meaning someone who is aware and has a will, but also just and also kind and merciful to the creation that our Creator created, and created us for a purpose. Our Creator didn't create this all in vain and everything and just let it be. No, there is a reason for our creation. And every part of your body has a function, has a purpose. Your eyes, your lungs, your liver, your kidney. There is a set function and a purpose which you or your parents didn't put in place. None of us designed, or you know what, the purpose of the inner self, the cochlea in our ears, is to make us hear and have a fine balance as I'm standing. We didn't design it. The whole body, we are told we have no purpose. Our purpose is to be happy and to make money and to have a man or a woman in our life, and that's it, and live and die like that. No. We have a purpose in our life, because all part of our body, your shoes have a purpose, and yet we don't have a purpose. Our purpose is to recognize our Creator and be grateful to our Creator.
Scientifically,
if someone gave you, a kidney or a lung or a heart transplant when you needed it, you would be grateful and thankful to that person, because that person gave you out of their own kindness and generosity perhaps. And being grateful and being thankful, showing that gratitude, is your natural response. When you have a heart transplant from someone, or a kidney from some donor, you will be thankful to them, say thank you. Our Creator given us all of it, 2 kidneys, lungs and a heart and a digestive system and so on. Our natural response, we say, should be one of gratitude. Thank you. And that is what we say is the purpose of our life, is to be grateful to our Creator and to live our life according to what our Creator wants us to live, so that this is linked with the hereafter.
So we're talking now about religion. I don't want to talk.
That's fine, because you have to go. I just want to summarize this before you go.
Yes, I don't want to talk about religion because I think I don't have enough facts. So you can believe in the Creator if you want to. I don't want to disturb you, but I want to be like, I'm still looking for facts. Thank you.
That's fine. It's no matter of laughing. It's people's own choice.